Steve here at PC Pickup, and we just finished another great custom gaming build for another client of ours. He wanted it because his old one was getting a little dated. It was only running a dual-core i5 and an older GTX 560 Ti, and he wanted something nicer to play his racing game on, that he would have less issues because more and more people are getting into the game and the maps are getting bigger and more detailed. Here we have the finished computer and an entire spread of all the boxes of stuff that went into it, and we're going to talk in detail about what we built today. Graphite 760T case with side window. They make two versions, one with a side window and one without. On the front we have two red LED fans that come stock on the case. You have a flip down CD-ROM and two more bays for two more CD-ROMs that don't have a front panel cover, so whatever color or type of CD-ROM or manufacturer will be visible on those ones. The front fans are controlled by a fan controller up here. As you can see on the top of the case, we have two more red LED fans that we installed, and these are the Corsair AF 120mm fans with red LEDs. You have your front panel audio, two USB 2.0, two USB 3.0, power and reset switch. The reset switch also acts as the hard drive indicator light for hard drive activity. There's also a fan speed controller option. The fan speed controller built into this case comes with 4 connectors, so you can wire 4 fans into it. They use the standard 3-pin fan connector, not the 4-pin Molex connector. As you can see, it only has 2 settings, a high and a low. When the high turns on, you can hear the fans that get a little bit louder, and the lights get a little bit brighter on them. We tied the 2 on top and the 2 front into the controller so that the red ambience is also controlled by the fan controller. This case also comes with one, I believe, 140mm fan on the rear. It has a spot for 3 120s on the top or other size fans, and it has 2 140s in the front. It also comes with this panel that you can equip right over it should you decide you don't want to do top mounted fans. Here we have the back side of the case. As you can see, it's actually a highly reflective gloss finish, and what I really enjoy about this case is how easy it is to get into. It's simply a pull lever, swing open door. Now the door can actually lift up off the hinges and come off if you need to access it or don't want the door swinging back in your way. Here we have the cable management side of the case. You can see where everything ties in and how everything can be routed through the back so that you get a nice clean look on the other side. Another thing on this side is the solid state drives. They actually give you 4 solid state drive bays. The 4th one was taken out because it kind of gets in the way of the wiring on the other hard drive bays, but they just snap right in, and you can pop a hard drive in completely toolless and snap right back into place. Here we have the clear window side, and the whole panel actually is clear. This is actually one of the biggest clear-sided cases I've seen as far as, the amount of viewable area. Same thing on this side. You open a lever and the door simply swings open, and it's also equipped with the same hinges so you can simply lift the door right off. Here we have an Asus M5A99FX Pro motherboard. It's an AMD motherboard with the AMD 990FX chipset. In it we have an AMD FX 8350 processor with a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo heatsink and fan. I like the design of them over, let's say, the V8 heatsink and fan because of the fact that you can simply unsnap the fan and change the fan out for a quieter model if you wish, or one with color LEDs. They also give you the brackets to mount a fan on the opposing side over here so that you can have a push-pull fan setup so that it forces air out faster. I didn't think it was really necessary as we have another fan right here venting out the back. We're using Crucial Ballistics RAM in 16 gigs, dual 8, running at 1866 and an MSI GTX 970 video card. I like the MSI video cards. Other than a couple little features, they tend to run cooler than a lot of the other ones. The only thing I don't like, and some of the other manufacturers do this, is that the fans will stop completely when the card is not hot. And then it waits until it hits a certain temperature for the fans to spin up. This keeps the card at a slightly higher temperature than it could potentially be held at. But this can also be modified by adjusting the fan speed controls in the NVIDIA control panel. The bottom of the case is a little bit more difficult to work with. You have 6 hard drive bays down here at the bottom. If you get a modular power supply, something to keep in mind is that it's a really tight fit right here when you try to plug them in. But this set of drive bays here, if you're not using them, can actually be unbolted from the bottom and removed, and even replaced with a fan. We're using an EVGA 750 gold modular power supply. 750 watts is more than enough to power this. It should even power it if the customer decides to add another 970 and go with SLI. I prefer EVGAs over some of the competitors due to the high amount of amps on the 12 volt rail. Thank you. Good enough.